Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na.
Hey everybody, it's Laura with Untitled Typewriters. Thanks so much for joining me today for this episode with a Smith Corona electric typewriter 1960. This particular one is my absolute favorite model of typewriter. It's actually kind of tied with that Royal Quiet Deluxe from the 50s, but I have this and I have it in a beige, but I decided to update the tutorial video just because it had been a while since I've done one. And because this one is just really fun to type on, and I love it, and I love this machine. When people ask for recommendations, I almost always come back to the Smith Corona electric because it's often overlooked, and it happens to be just an amazing typewriter, especially for those of you that have smaller hands. It's so easy, just the lightest touch. The keys are close together. It's got the beautiful mid-century modern body style that's extremely popular among the Smith Corona typewriters, but then it has the ease of an electric. And for those of you who are active writers, you're going to love it. And so one of our customers, if you haven't visited yet, is Overall Adventures. Tina over there, she's got a YouTube channel and she's a journaler and she uses one of these. And I was able to help her pick one out. So go check her out. I'll put the link in the description below so you can go watch Tina over at Overall Adventures. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to start. We're going to start with the back and we're going to work our way forward. So there is the paper holder, comes in quite handy and keeping your paper from flopping down. You've got your margins and you just press and drag these metal silver tabs here. All right, you do have, a lot of people forget about it. This is a paper guide. So let's say you have maybe an envelope you're typing or a postcard. That's just helpful for loading your paper. Over on the right side, you've got your carriage release. It's the curved silver lever, the same lever that's on the left side. It doesn't matter which one you pull in, either one, you just pull it forward. That releases your carriage and it should flow nice and smooth. It shouldn't be grinding. If it grinds a little bit, just try pulling the handle in a little bit more, making sure that handle's completely releasing. And sometimes it's just because you haven't pulled that handle all the way in. But really the carriage should be nice and smooth on there. Also on the right side, you have a paper release, and what that is for, when you load your paper, you just set it there, turn the handle, and if it's crooked, which I happen to load it perfectly straight, yay, but if it had been crooked, you just pull that forward, and then you can adjust your paper and straighten it out. And then also when you're done, you pull that forward and pull your paper out. So that's what the paper release is for. Also, this bar, make sure your paper goes underneath that bar when you are loading it. Okay, on the left side, you're going to see a 1, 2, and 3. This lever right here adjusts between the 3 settings, and that's for when you hit your return handle, which is this long metal arm right here. So that's a single return, double, and triple. So if you're writing a book, like especially your first draft, I would do double and triple spacing just so you can write notes and make edits in between. All right, so we're going to look under the hood, and to do that I'm going to move the carriage all the way to the left because I don't want this handle to scrape the beautiful finish on this typewriter. And a lot of typewriters you're going to see kind of little scratches either here, so there's a little bit of a one, very faint here or sometimes here, and that is because people have tried either opening the cover or they didn't have the cover all the way down when trying to move the carriage and that handle scraped along the cover. So that's pretty common. Just be aware of that. So we're going to open up by popping the top open. Inside, you're going to see the basket, and here's your type bars. Here's your spools. Your spool. This typewriter does take a universal ribbon. They are available on our website at jotandtittletypewriters.com. There's a link in the description below for you as well. Now, and they're easy to find. You can find them in a lot of different places. Just make sure it's a universal ribbon with a 2-inch spool and a 1/2-inch ribbon. This typewriter takes 2 colors. Most common is black and red. So black is on top, red is on the bottom. You can put a single color on there if you want. When it is time to change, these just pop out. You just lift them up. It's going to pull right out of the guide wire here. Same with this side. And when you reload it, again, make sure that black is on top, red is on bottom. You can kind of see the direction where I have it threaded. So the ribbon comes around the top and around the back side. That's the direction it goes. And you just pop that down like that. Make sure it's in the guide wire. The ribbon is in the guide wires, and it's very messy. So I'm going to have ink all over my hands. See? Look at that. And it's going to get everywhere, so I'm going to try to wipe my hand. All right. I have an up-close photo of this area right here on the product listing link in the description below. Click on that, bookmark that photo, or save that photo, screenshot it, whatever you need for reference, so that when you're changing out your ribbon, you can refer back to see how it's loaded, how it's threaded through those guide wires. Keep in mind there's probably the little openings in the metal. Sometimes they're behind, or sometimes they're on the top, sometimes they're on the bottom. You'll just have to kind of look. Anyway, this is what it should look like when you're finished. Remember, there's a guide wire here, here, and then the middle sections. Looks like I broke a nail. Okay, let's close that top. And one of the things that I often do, especially on mine, is you have to make sure it's snapped in all the way. Otherwise, it actually won't turn on. It's a safety feature for this particular model of typewriter. On-off switch. Here, let me lift it up so you can kind of see the front. This is your on-off switch. This lever over here, the dial, it just determines how hard these type bars are going to strike your paper. So you can just kind of mess with that and set it to your personal liking. On all my electrics, I always let it hum for a couple of seconds, 15, 20 seconds before I start typing on it. Also, over here, this is your color, your ribbon reversal, because that ink on the ribbon is going to last you a long time. So when you get to the end of the spool, if your spool isn't an auto reverse spool, then you manually reverse it here. And you just go back and forth many, many times until that ink is all used up. Color selector on the right side. Black is on top, red is on the bottom. The white, which is in the middle, is a stencil setting. You won't ever need to use that. And if your lever gets stuck on that, it's not going to type right. So 2 things to look for when you're typing in something. It either starts to not feel right, or the font is looking weird, or you can see your ribbon pulling really tight, or it's just not working quite right. Stop, and there's 2 things to look at. Try reversing your ribbon, and then make sure that it's not on the white setting. So I just push it one way or the other to make sure it's firmly on the black or the red setting. And again, we're just going to load this scrap piece of paper here, and we're going to just put it in, and I'm going to show you a couple things. So you have your backspace. Backspace does not erase. It just, if you make a mistake, you can backspace and type over it if you want. Also, there's that bell. So that bell is going to go off whenever you get within a couple characters of your right margin. And that's to let you know, hey, the typewriter's about to stop on you. You're going to need to hit your return handle, go to the next line, and keep typing. But sometimes you're in the middle of a thought or a word. So there's the bell. So I'm in the middle of my word, and I really would like to finish my word. So you have a button right here that says MR. You just hit that button. And then you can go to the next line. Obviously, margin release is not intended for every single line. If you're using your margin release on every single line, then you don't have the right margins set. So you really want to stay within your margins just for, you know, proper look. It just looks better when your margins are correct. Okay, let's talk about the tab. So the tab settings are over here on the right side, and you'll see a CL for clear and a set for set. All clear is when you push it down and you're holding the clear, and then you move your carriage back and forth. I do it a couple times. That will clear all your tabs. So if I hit tab, it should go all the way to the end, which it does. Okay, so let's say I want to set it. By the way, power spacing is if you push all the way down on your space bar and hold it. So let's set a tab right here. We'll hit set. Let's go see if that worked. And it did. Now if I want to clear that one particular tab stop, I hit clear. And it cleared it. So that is how you use your tabbing, which it was mainly used for accounting purposes, but you can use it to create columns, or you want to tab in for your paragraph, however you want to do that. So we've gone over the backspace, we've gone over the tab and the margin release. Let me see, I always forget to show you guys where your serial number is. And let me see if I can remember. I'm going to turn this off. Okay, I did find my serial number. I just had to get a handy dandy flashlight because I couldn't see it. So you open that up, or slide that over, open that up, and your serial number, get your little flashlight, is right down in here and stamped into the frame. And so it's going to be on the right side underneath the ribbon. And yes, most likely you will need a flashlight to see it, which is why I did not see it at first. So there it is. And then you can go to typewriterdatabase.com and look it up. And I know, let me see, can you guys see? I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's right there. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.